In this video, we'll be taking a look at the rise in popularity of CBD and hemp in the cosmetics industry. We'll be taking a deep dive into the different cannabis extracts used in cosmetics today, their benefits in a wide range of skincare applications, and the future of CBD skincare brands and ranges in the UK, Europe, and beyond. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video where I'll be giving you my top 3 ingredients to look for in a topical CBD product that increase the absorption and bioavailability of cannabis extracts on the skin. Hi, I'm Tamara Mason. I'm the head formulator and product and brand director of Cannaful, where I formulate all the white label ranges and custom developed CBD skincare products. I have a particular passion for working with natural, plant-based ingredients and taking a more holistic approach to skincare and the health of our skin in general. In this presentation, we're going to take a slightly deeper dive into topical CBD, an area often overlooked or reserved for pseudopharmaceuticals, sports and pain relief products. In particular, I'll be focusing on the beauty industry, where I believe there is some really interesting growth and opportunity for CBD and hemp. In particular, we'll be looking at how to understand the different types of cannabis extracts available for cosmetic use, the overall benefits of CBD in skincare and how its efficacy is making it popular in the beauty industry, a deeper insight into how CBD works for all skin types, and how big brands are using cannabis extracts with what the future holds for CBD within the beauty industry. So, let's dive in. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about today is the different types of cosmetic cannabis extracts that we have available to us. So as we can see here, there are lots of different types of cannabis sativa extracts, and these are all different types of extracts from the cannabis plant. Now, some of them are more common than others, as you'll see. So the first on our list is hemp seed oil, and this is a really common, really popular cosmetic ingredient. Now, with hemp seed oil, there are really absolutely no issues when it comes to regulation. It's a completely legal, thoroughly regulated product. It's widely used in food as well, and great to use in cosmetics. Next, we have some slightly more obscure extracts from cannabis, which is hemp seed water. This is again using the seeds of the plant. And this will be the seeds that are extracted into water to create a type of hydrolate, which can then be used in products in place of regular water, such as toners or creams. And this is quite a rare product. I've personally not seen it used on the market in any products, but it is possible and it is listed. Next, we have hemp seed cake, and this is quite an interesting ingredient. When we extract the oil from hemp seeds, what's left over is the shell of the seed and all of the other fibrous materials that are left from cold pressing the seed to extract the oil. Now, this product is actually quite beneficial for the skin. It can be used as a type of mud. It can be blended with regular hemp seed oil or other plant-based oils. It can be used to create products like face masks or body masks, and it's quite an interesting ingredient to work with also because it helps to prevent wastage. This is essentially a byproduct, a waste byproduct of the production of hemp seed oil. So finding a way to use it in cosmetics helps us to reduce that waste and make sure that we're really using the whole part of the cannabis plant. And talking about using the whole part of the plant, this is where hemp root extract comes in. Hemp roots are full of nutritious phytocompounds that are really, really beneficial for our health and for the health of our skin. Now, hemp root extract doesn't come with any of the regulations, kind of like the red tape that a lot of like the leaf and flower extracts come with, which we'll get to in a minute. And it's, again, a really interesting product to work with, but it's not something that I've really seen in products at all. What we tend to see are the more mainstream ingredients. Now, the final two is cannabigerol, which you might have heard has recently been approved for cosmetic use. This is our CBG extract, which is kind of uptaking a little bit quicker in the US than it is over here in the UK. But a lot of CBD brands are really, really keen to get working with CBG. And now last but certainly not least, we have the star of the show, which is CBD, quite widely used in cosmetics, and it's being seen more and more in mainstream cosmetic skincare lines. Now, also one thing to mention when looking at the different types of cosmetic cannabis extracts is the amount of misinformation that is out there when it comes to hemp and CBD cosmetic and skincare products. A lot of people in the public tend to confuse CBD and hemp as being the same thing. And unfortunately, there are a lot of brands that tend to take advantage of this and will actually sell CBD products that don't contain any CBD. Now, they will contain hemp seed oil, and the ingredients list on the back will show the INCI of cannabis sativa. And that, for a lot of people, tends to be enough to kind of reassure them that, oh, it does contain, these cannabis extracts. But there is such a huge difference between the benefits of hemp seed oil and CBD. They're both beneficial, but they're very different. And it's not good to mislead customers like this. So I think it's important that we understand the difference between the two. Obviously, at the CBD Expo, we all understand the difference between the two. But in cosmetics, it's really, really good to try and educate people a little bit more so that brands can't mislead consumers into thinking that they're buying CBD when actually they're just buying hemp seed oil. So as you can see on this list, what I've got underneath the common name, which is what we call these elements in everyday conversation, is its INCI name. Now, INCI, spelled INCI, stands for International Nomenclature of Cosmetic Ingredients. And this is the official way that we refer to these ingredients on cosmetic labeling. And this is really interesting because especially within hemp and CBD in skincare and cosmetics, I see a lot of mislabeling. And that's really quite interesting. So it helps to know where we get this information from, who decides what the INCI name for something is, who decides how something is listed on an ingredients list. So we get this information from a database called COSING, which was set up by the European Commission. And COSING lists a load of cosmetic ingredients. It is to be taken with a slight pinch of salt because not all of the information is always up to date, and it doesn't necessarily contain every single cosmetic ingredient available, but it is extensive. It contains thousands and thousands of cosmetic ingredients and contains a lot of really, really useful information, such as what the benefits of each ingredient are and whether there is any restriction around its use. So when we look at this COSING database, we can see that there are definitely a few things absent, specifically if we look at CBD. So what I see on labeling quite frequently with CBD products are things like CBD extract, full spectrum CBD, cannabis sativa flower leaf stem, cannabis sativa extract, broad spectrum CBD, and cannabis sativa L. Now, these things all make sense to people in the cannabis industry, in the CBD industry, and to a certain extent, they might make sense to the people that aren't in the CBD industry, but who know a little bit about, cannabis. Maybe they take it, they take a CBD oil as a supplement. But when it comes to cosmetic regulation, we're kind of lucky. I do consider ourselves lucky that we have a real black and white legislation. So in the UK and in the EU, the only acceptable listing for CBD is cannabidiol, as we saw on the previous slide. This is the only acceptable way to be writing it. So when I see products where the labeling contains these different extracts, it just goes to show quite how young the industry is, and just how much kind of, I want to say flexibility, but it is a sort of flexibility, but it's just because the legislation hasn't quite caught up yet. So if you're looking to launch your own CBD skincare products, something to watch out for, because a lot of third-party labs actually won't certify products that contain cannabis sativa flower leaf stem oil, for example. And the reason for this is because these extracts are actually banned from use in cosmetics in the UK and Europe. And this is due to the United Nations Convention on Narcotics, which dates back to 1961. So this is a really, really old regulation, but it is actually still enforced. And if you look on the COSING database next to these different cannabis extracts, so if you see, for example, cannabis sativa flower leaf stem, you'll see next to it, and it will actually say restricted for use due to this Narcotics Act. So look it up. It's really, really interesting. But in the meantime, stick on the safe side and list your CBD in your product as cannabidiol. So now that we've taken a quick look at the different types of cannabis extracts that are available in cosmetics, and also what you can and can't call CBD in your cosmetics, let's take a look into the benefits of CBD in skincare. One of the things that I get asked a lot as a formulator is, what does CBD do? Why is it such a good ingredient to use? Is it a good ingredient to use? Or is it just another gimmicky product that's there that you can put a cannabis leaf on a tube of cream and then the novelty factor will have it sell? And this can be the case for a lot of ingredients, a lot of new ingredients that just pop up on the market out of nowhere. We see tens of brands jump on the bandwagon and then it disappears overnight. Now, this is not the case for CBD, and the reason for that is because it is actually really, really effective at a number of different things. So again, we're going back to COSING, this European database of cosmetic ingredients. And COSING has a list of official benefits and properties for these cosmetic ingredients. So I wanted to take a look at these official benefits first before going into the anecdotal. First of all, we've got anti-sebum, which means that the CBD will regulate and reduce the skin's natural production of oil called sebum. So this is beneficial then for oily skin types or combination skin types, anybody looking to help control how oily their skin is. Second, we have antioxidant, and this means that the CBD will help to prevent oxidation and free radical damage that can lead to signs of aging. And antioxidants are hugely, hugely popular in skincare because of this ability to prevent free radical damage. Now, I wrote a blog about antioxidants, which you'll be able to find on our brand website, ascendskincare.co.uk. And it's about how antioxidants work in skincare. It goes quite deep onto the science, but it's an interesting read if you want to learn more about it. Essentially, free radicals will damage your skin on a molecular level, which then causes the cells to degrade prematurely. So incorporating antioxidants into your routine is so important, especially if you live, say, in a city centre where you're exposed to pollution, or if you're a smoker, if you drink alcohol, maybe if you don't have the healthiest lifestyle, then you will be more prone to free radical damage and should be looking to include antioxidants in both your diet and your skincare. Next, we have skin conditioning. Now, this is quite self-explanatory. It means that it nourishes the skin, keeps the skin in good condition, just like you would condition your hair, make it softer, make it smoother. It helps the skin to look and feel better. And last but not least, we have skin protecting. This is becoming more and more of a priority for beauty consumers, where we're looking to support the skin's barrier function and protect the skin from external factors such as pollution, such as sun damage. And also when we go into winter, for example, the change in temperature, either cold winds or central heating, all of these external factors can damage the skin barrier. And so we are looking more and more to help protect our skin as opposed to repair the damage. We're looking for more preventative action. And this is where CBD officially has the stamp of approval from the European Commission. So next, let's go into the slightly more unofficial but anecdotally accepted benefits of CBD in cosmetics and skincare. Now, first of all is anti-inflammatory. This is a little bit tricky to talk about because within cosmetics regulation, anti-inflammatory is considered a bit more of a medical term. So in cosmetics, we can't really use medical terminology. However, we do have a lot of anecdotal evidence to show that when applied topically, CBD does act as an anti-inflammatory agent. It reduces the inflammation that causes acne to become worse, that can cause red patches from allergies, generally irritated skin. Inflammation causes a huge range of skin conditions, such as psoriasis. It can cause eczema. It can be the cause of acne, though that is not always the case. And having an anti-inflammatory in your skincare, some people find that it is actually able to replace corticosteroids that are prescribed with less side effects. Next, we have its soothing ability. Now, soothing is a benefit that is recognized in skincare by Cosing, and it means that it just helps to desensitize highly reactive and sensitive skin. And we can see this benefit particularly in people who look to CBD for help with skin conditions such as eczema and psoriasis, where the skin is inflamed, it's very angry, it's red, it's itchy, it's sore, and this soothing effect is highly noted in CBD products. And often this can be amplified by using other soothing ingredients such as aloe vera or allantoin. And finally, we have antimicrobial. Now, a lot of people can push this a little bit too far. CBD won't kill COVID, but it does have a slightly antimicrobial profile, meaning that it helps to prevent growth of bacteria, yeasts, and mold. So globally speaking, it helps to prevent any kind of growth of things that we wouldn't want growing. And this in turn helps with conditions like acne if the cause is bacteria. It helps with conditions such as seborrheic dermatitis, where often yeasts and molds can be partially responsible for these conditions. And generally speaking, antimicrobial on a mild level can just help keep the skin in good condition, especially if you're prone to little breakouts anyway. So now that we've had a look at the benefits of CBD in skincare, let's take a look into how CBD works for all skin types. I often get asked, what makes CBD so special? What makes me want to work with CBD above any other plant extract? What makes it such an amazing ingredient? And my answer to this question is just how versatile it is. I have yet to find an ingredient that on the same level as CBD works for every single skin type imaginable. So first of all, for dry skin, CBD works really well for dry skin. So on a base level, often CBD will be suspended in an oil, and oils are great for dry skin because it helps to keep water in the skin. There is something that happens in our skin every day, all the time. It's called transepidermal water loss. And that is essentially how we lose water through our skin. It evaporates out of us. And when we have a strong barrier function on our skin, that water is kind of kept locked in. And so when we have oils that help to nourish the skin, then that improves our barrier function and it prevents this transepidermal water loss. So CBD works really, really well for dry skin as it conditions the skin as well. And as we've seen with the anti-inflammatory benefits, it can help to improve a lot of conditions that are associated with dry skin. Now, for oily and acne-prone skin, CBD is a really, really wonderful ingredient. It actively rebalances oil production in the skin, and the anti-inflammatory properties mentioned previously can really, really help to soothe breakouts that are particularly sore and angry. And for combination skin, the oil regulation properties that CBD has doesn't strip or irritate the skin. The conditioning properties supports areas of dry skin that may be present on combination skin types. And that means that even acne-prone skin that has areas of dryness or a lot of sensitivity will really, really benefit from CBD. And this is particularly interesting when looking at what the alternatives are in the industry. So for oily skin, for example, a lot of people will turn to salicylic acid, glycolic acid. They'll turn to ingredients that can be quite harsh, especially for sensitive skin types. And people that suffer with a little bit of skin sensitivity would probably choose to avoid. So for sensitive skin types, CBD works as a really great non-irritating alternative. Now, aside from oily skin types that happen to be sensitive, just on a more general level, sensitive skin types have to avoid quite a lot of cosmetic ingredients. One of those can be vitamin C, vitamin E, a lot of these potent antioxidants. And CBD has the benefit of being a really potent, effective antioxidant that is up to 30% more effective than vitamin C and vitamin E, but it doesn't cause the sensitizing effects that some of these other antioxidants can. It's soothing alongside the other properties, so even sensitive skins can really benefit from CBD without having any side effects. For mature skin types, we're again looking at our antioxidant properties, because actively fighting free radicals means that we are preventing premature signs of aging, such as fine lines and wrinkles, from appearing. And this helps mature skin in that it will condition the skin, so it'll help keep it in better health, and a healthier skin will look younger, and also gives us a real preventative action in preventing any further signs of aging. And for dull skin isn't something we tend to talk about very much, because it's not really a skin condition. Nobody really goes to their, dermatologist or to the doctor because they have dull skin. Dull skin can often be a factor of many, many things. So it can be a compromised barrier function that's maybe causing you to lose a little bit too much water, so your skin's maybe not quite as plumped up as it would be. Maybe there's an issue with circulation. You're not getting quite as much blood flow to the face, and this can be improved with just exercise and healthier diets and things like that. But also, CBD can help improve the appearance of duller skin. With improving the barrier function, with the antioxidants helping prevent dullness that's caused by pollution. But there's also some evidence to show that CBD helps improve circulation. And if we improve circulation in the skin, then we increase the levels of oxygen that are present in the skin, and that will help to relieve dullness. And we have seen a lot of people that, didn't consider themselves to have dull skin, try products that contained CBD alongside other plant-based ingredients and report that they saw, a noticeable difference. Now that we've established that CBD is a really beneficial skincare ingredient that can help a lot of people with a lot of different skin types, let's take a look at how big brands are using CBD and hemp. If you go to your supermarket, a big Tesco, a big Asda, and you take a look down the hair care aisles, I've been seeing more and more hair products incorporating hemp. Now, it's quite interesting the way that they're doing this, because they're obviously incorporating hemp because it is a beneficial ingredient, which it is. Hemp seed oil is fantastic for hair care. It's fantastic for the scalp. It's fantastic for maintaining hair health. So it's a great ingredient to incorporate. But if we look at some of the brands, big brands that are using hemp, they're incorporating it in a really subtle way. So herbal essences, for example, they are putting far more focus on the aloe vera side of their hemp range as opposed to hemp, but they're still featuring that little telltale cannabis leaf, which helps to add a little bit of je ne sais quoi. And then we have the Aussie. Aussie tend to be a little bit more tongue-in-cheek a lot of the time with their marketing and with how open they are. So again, we have this famous cannabis leaf, which is slightly more prominent on their packaging. But neither of these kind of big brands that are still incorporating hemp quite openly are really calling to the fact that they are, using hemp. I feel like, there are definitely some barriers that are preventing brands from diving, with both feet first into the hemp and CBD sphere. And we'll take a little look at that in a minute. But now on to skincare. And it's quite interesting when we see which brands are taking up CBD and hemp in skincare. So first of all, we have these really big name brands. We have Avon, we have The Body Shop, these kinds of brands that tend to have really, really large networks of people. And so these products tend to be sold a lot more by word of mouth rather than through traditional advertising routes. For The Body Shop, a lot of their hemp sales were towards men because hemp is seen as a slightly more masculine product. And this is reflected in their hemp hand cream, where the scent is definitely more unisex than a lot more of their products, which tend to be, quite fruity and sweetly scented. And The Body Shop also, based off of the success of their hemp cream, launched a CBD range. Now, this has been really interesting to see such a mainstream skincare company start selling CBD. Revolution is another very mainstream brand that we can find on the high street. We can find it in Superdrug. We can find it online really, really easily. It's at a very accessible price point. And they've launched a range of products that contain CBD. Now, what's quite interesting with these much more mainstream brands that have CBD skincare is that compared to, say, slightly more indie brands, they do not list the milligram content of CBD. They don't advertise it. They don't push that at all. So it's really interesting to then compare the mainstream CBD and hemp products to the kind of more independent luxury beauty companies that are starting to launch CBD skincare products, where we see more of a focus on milligram content and on transparency and on COAs. And I think this goes to show that the general public still don't fully understand CBD, so they don't expect this level of transparency. They don't expect the milligram content. They don't understand what it means. They don't know if a product contains 500 milligrams or 150 milligrams. They have no benchmark. They don't know what to expect or what's good or kind of really where their money's going, essentially, for the CBD side of things. And even in some of the more luxury spheres, we do see a lot of people kind of trying to hide how much CBD is in their products. So we always advise people to be really open and honest, because essentially within the industry in general, we're looking for more transparency. We're looking for more honesty. We're looking for products to contain exactly how much CBD they say that they contain. And as the beauty industry starts to open up to CBD a little bit more, these milligram standards are going to become more and more prominent, whether it ends up being milligrams or whether it adopts the percentage approach, which the beauty industry tends to be slightly more on board with already. We'll see products that contain hyaluronic acid or retinol, and they'll be listed with their percentage amounts. That's to be determined. But I think it's good to start setting a standard anyway and start making sure that, noting the milligram content and being able to prove that milligram content comes as standard within CBD beauty products. As I think this can be one of the barriers that CBD brands face within the beauty sphere, and perhaps why the uptake of CBD is a little bit slower. But there are still other interesting factors. And the first is the cost of raw materials. And this is one of the reasons why we're finding a lot of confusion between hemp seed oil and CBD, maybe a lot of brands wanting to use the hype around hemp and CBD, but don't want the cost of CBD, so we'll use hemp instead. Second, we've got the lack of understanding of cannabis extracts. So just like we were saying, how the general public just don't really understand what milligrams are. They don't expect it. They don't expect everything to be that transparent. Either that or they have negative preconceptions of CBD. Maybe they think that it's illegal. Maybe they think that it'll get them high. Maybe they think it's just a gimmick. There's just a general lack of understanding and education around CBD, particularly in skincare. And because of this general lack of understanding, we're finding these cosmetic regulation barriers are, quite frankly, unnecessary. CBD is safe. It is safe. There are multiple scientific studies that prove how effective it is at helping a range of skin conditions. So for purely cosmetic use, there are there's an amazing amount of barriers and red tape in place, which I think can definitely put a lot of brands off. It puts younger brands off because it's more expensive and it's harder to develop a product. But then also bigger brands will, want to use cannabis, but will definitely steer more towards hemp than they will CBD. So really what we need is more bigger brands just kind of diving in, dealing with the red tape, going through the regulation procedures, bringing some CBD products to market so that it starts to become a little bit more widely accepted. And finally, we have advertising restrictions, and this all links in. Now, it's quite funny because on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's actually legal to advertise CBD topicals if it's a skincare product. We know that we can't do paid ads for supplements and things like that, but for topical and skincare products, you can advertise in theory. However, a lot of brands will find that when they try to advertise their products that contain CBD or hemp, it will get shut down, despite the fact that they are actually allowed to do that. So there's a lot of things that prevent smaller brands and even bigger brands from really branching into CBD. And yet, it's not slowing down. And yet, we're seeing a huge increase in people interested in CBD products, in people wanting to use hemp and CBD in their skincare routines or to help treat skin conditions such as eczema and psoriasis. So despite all of this red tape, CBD and hemp is not slowing down. So when eventually things start opening up a little bit more, regulation starts calming down, people start to accept that, CBD is actually, not the demon that it has been made out to be in the past. And we're starting to see this with people accepting CBG, for example. We are really going to see a boom in CBD beauty, that is transparent, that has high standards that we expect. And it's going to be a great day for the CBD and hemp industry. Thank you so much for sticking around. I had promised at the end of the video that I would give you my top 3 ingredients to look for in topical CBD products that help to improve the absorption of CBD. Now, first of all is castor oil. Castor oil is really rich in fatty acids and omega-9. It penetrates the different layers of the skin well, and in doing so increases the penetration of other skincare ingredients that it's formulated with. This means that your CBD product will be carried deeper into the skin. And castor oil is also known to help relieve the symptoms of dry, itchy skin conditions and has been used anecdotally for centuries to help with inflammatory skin conditions such as eczema and psoriasis. Second is squalane. Squalane is chemically identical to our skin's own natural oil. Multiple scientific studies have shown that squalane helps to carry CBD molecules deeper into the epidermis, making it particularly useful for topical products. Squalane is quite a refined product compared to other plant oils, so if you're looking for even more natural options, jojoba oil makes a great alternative that's also very chemically similar to our own skin's natural oil. And last but not least is hemp seed oil. And this one seems a little bit obvious, but there is a good reason that it's here on my top 3 list. Firstly, it's not difficult to source natural hemp-derived CBD extracted into virgin hemp seed oil. It's one of the industry standards. But the practicality aside, hemp seed oil also tends to be very high in GLA, gamma-linoleic acid. GLA plays an important role in regulating prostaglandins, which are active fatty compounds that act almost like hormones and help to regulate the body's inflammatory response. If the reason you're using CBD topically is to help with a condition that is linked to inflammation, whether that be dry, itchy skin, acne, or just generalized skin sensitivity, then adding hemp seed oil or other GLA-rich oils to your formulas will help even more. Thanks for taking the time to watch this presentation. I hope you found it informative and insightful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via the contact section at www.cannaful.co.uk. I look forward to hearing from you.